Today we have Mr. Sanji Caldera from Sanji Caldera Associates to talk about one of the important and prevailing discussing topic relating to general skill migration, that is about state government sponsorship. Now, first of all, I would like to welcome Sanji Caldera to Sri Lanka Morning Show program.
Thank you, Tushar, for having me here today.
Now, Sanji, can you first explain what is this state government sponsorship?
What I am talking about today, state government sponsorship has many different facets for it, but today I'm going to talk about general skill migration.
Right.
So this is where people migrate to Australia, or people in temporary visas in Australia try to get permanent residency. They go through what we call a state government sponsorship program. Now, when you have a point system, we have what we call independent applications, independent without the state sponsorship. So the independent category is only available for the medium to long-term skill occupation list.
Right.
However, there are many other skill occupations. We call it regional occupation, we call it short-term skill occupation. So if your occupation falls into either any one of them, independent or otherwise, however, specifically to the short-term list, you must get state government sponsorship.
Right.
So the different states in Australia and the different territories in Australia participate in this program.
Right. So what visa categories can apply for this state government sponsorship?
Okay, so there are two main categories. One is called the subclass 190. That is a sponsorship that the state government will give you for permanent residency. The next one is a provisional visa called the state government regional sponsored subclass 491. What the 491 does is that it gives the applicant 5 years, a 5-year visa, where the applicant must stay in, live, work in any regional location in Australia for 3 years, and then they'll be entitled to apply for permanent residency on their own.
So do they have to, like, let's say that if they get a state sponsorship from Victoria, so do they have to stay in Victorian territory, Victorian state, by the time when they apply for this 491?
Very interesting question. If you have got a 190 sponsorship for directly permanent residency, there is an obligation to live in the state for at least 2 years.
Right.
When they get a subclass 491 sponsorship, the state naturally expects them to live for the next couple of years. I said 3 years before they apply for permanent residency. But there is no compulsion. They could live in any other regional area in Australia for 3 years and apply for permanent residency.
It's compulsory for them to live in a regional area, is that
Yes.
right?
Now, when we call about regional, I'll be very brief here. Any place other than Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane and its close suburbs, anywhere else is called regional. So whole of South Australia, whole of Tasmania, whole of Western Australia, they're regional.
So they can decide where they want to
That's correct.
live. All right. Now, how do you apply for this state sponsorship? Is there any specific procedure to apply?
Yes, I will tell you the background of this is that every state has a different methodology of how you get your state sponsorship. So from state to state, the methodology is different and the type of occupations that they will sponsor are different, and the different pathways within the state sponsorship are different. But first would be where we lodge an expression of interest with the immigration department, and in some states we have to also lodge what we call a register of interest with the state government. So it's a combination. Some states don't need the ROI, what we call, some states will need both of them.
What about Victoria?
Victoria needs the expression of interest and also the ROI. So then the state government will go through the ROI, have a look at that, have a look at the EOI, and depending if they meet all the criteria that they require, they will give you an invitation to apply for the state sponsorship.
Yeah. Now, if an applicant, say, if they choose to stay in Victoria and within that period, if they decided to move to a different state, are they still eligible to do that?
They can. So, again, as I said, every state has its own rules. Some other states will say you need to have stayed in our state for 3 months or 6 months or 12 months. It is very varied. And one of the questions people ask me, in order to get my permanent residency, shall I move to another state? My immediate answer is no. I say, look, find a job, and if that job happens to be in another state, then take it. Most importantly now, what we are moving in is where the government wants that people who study or qualified from overseas to make sure that they work in their field. That's the reason that the state government sponsorship comes in, where they say if you're working in your field, we'll give you a state sponsorship. That's for onshore, but for offshore, the rules are of course different.
Right, okay. Now, as a final note, is there anything else that you want to mention about for the applicants or the potential clients who are going to apply for this state government sponsorship?
I'll separate them to offshore and onshore.
Right.
Let's say someone in Sri Lanka wants to apply for the state government sponsorship. I think first they need to get their skill assessment, they have to collect the points and get proper advice to see where their occupation is in demand.
Yes.
And that is where the states will sponsor them. For people onshore, they are settled. They should not move unless they get a good employment opportunity, and also keeping in mind whether that particular occupation by going to that state may come under the list, because each state has its own occupation list.
All right. And also I think over the time, sometimes the same state may change the demand areas.
Absolutely right.
Yes.
It is very dynamic, and that is why when this question says, Sanji, should I go to another state? Should I go? I'll say no, because you might be caught catch-22 situation here.
Yes.
So it's best that you live in your state and then work, and you have a better chance.
Right.
But if you have to move and your employment is in another state, go for it.
All right. Thanks, Sanji. Thank you so much for sharing this valuable information with our viewers. I think the people who are planning to apply for the state government sponsorship, I'm pretty sure that they have got a good understanding now. And if they want to get more details or more information, specific information relating to their case, how they can contact you?
They can contact us at Sanji Caldera Associates, or send us an email, or contact us by telephone.
Thank you. And once again, thank you so much for sharing this valuable information with us, and we would like to have you once again to talk about another topic relating to skill migration.
Thank you, Tushar, for having me today. It's been a pleasure.